Hi, give me a minute to find the video as usual. Alright, I don't even think I put the topic on there, but I'm gonna talk, let me see if it did. Let me put a topic on there, hang on. Hang on. Give me a second. Alright, good morning. I'm going to talk about Atlantis and the Interdimensional. I'll give people a second to find this and give me a minute to post it. Alright, it is a Friday. I'm real glad it's the weekend. I'm going to do my work and then do my usual, try to go off grid for the weekend. I'm real excited about that. So I'm doing a lot of downloading here for this class space in particular when I have time on things like Atlantis, Egypt, past places that we had past lives, things like that. It really goes with my theme because we're going to Stonehenge and we're going to some of these places, and you'll notice that a lot of these past cultures have one thing in common, that they could harness the elements, that they could harness the energy. You can look at the pyramids of Giza as a structure on these ley lines, you know, in perfect placement that could have had many uses, you know, as an energetic kind of dynamic. And you'll notice there's a lot of similarity in a lot of these places with Stonehenge and some of these past places. Okay, everyone likes to think of Lemuria as at a higher level of consciousness than Atlantis, but it actually wasn't. Atlantis would have been the highest level of consciousness that humanity probably attained. So I want to talk a little bit about the interdimensional, because, you know, Atlantis would have been one of the first places that starseeds began to incarnate into. I would say 80% of American people have had past lives in Atlantis. Right? So, I mean, you know, it's something that really affects us now. I like to understand, you know, because right now I feel like with my own lessons that I'm going through a lot of ancestral type of stuff that has been, I don't know if it was from me from past lives or passed down my family line. When I look at my lessons and I look at some of my family stuff I have. And so I always have an interest in how our past lives have shaped us into where we are now. like on every level. It's just like, and we were just talking about it on Feedwood Dale. I just did a video with him and he was talking about, I'm trying to think about, you know, these past places and about the similarity between some of these religions and cultures, right, worldwide. He was talking about the Celts having, you know, stuff from India and the same deities and things like that. And when I look at this entire cycle and what a clusterfuck it's turning into, it looks to me like it all kind of stemmed from these places, you know, that were, if we look at Atlantis, this was a place where people, you know, before they were divided, were very into the law one, the spiritual, extraterrestrials, the interdimensional. If we talk about Lemuria, I picture a lot of unicorns. When I think of Atlantis, you know, dolphins played a huge role in these places. And and they still do as healers and, you know, being tuned in interdimensionally. Dolphins are interdimensional beings, right? They're very interdimensional. They can telepathy people. They actually can just heal you going near you, and they're really powerful in their scanning technology, which is extraterrestrial when I look at it. I've seen a lot of good posts lately about dolphins. And they did like a study where a woman gave birth with dolphins around her. And the dolphins use scanning technology to zone in on her body to heal her. And when I look at this, I'm like, oh, extraterrestrials, galactic scanning technology is what I use for my healing work. And it's very similar to that, right? So these are places that had a lot of extraterrestrial influence. There was a point where going through this cycle, people have been very cut off from the spiritual prior to awakening, that people were very cut off from the interdimensional around them and not able to perceive it on so many levels. Good morning. We're going to talk about interdimensional stuff because, you know, I resonate with being a starseed, and a lot of the downloads that I get, you know, are galactic type downloads, and that is an energy that I best flow with. We're getting nailed with a lot of galactic energies right now, and I'm feeling amazing. I just cleaned my whole house, did a good spiritual cleansing like sage. I'm like, here, I'm ready. So I'm feeling amazing. So I really resonate with this energy. When we talk about Atlantis, I want to talk about the atla-ra. Atla-ra. Sorry, I knew I would mess up something. The atla-ra. A-T-L-A-R-A. Atla-ra. This was a group of priests and priestesses in Atlantean times. A lot of people might even refer to these people as the children of the Law One. I've seen it in some channelings. Like I said, that these were women too. Women were highly regarded in these past places, especially Lemuria. I put a channeling post up about how I was talking about how in Lemuria women were seen as those that would plant the seeds of knowledge, whether good or bad, right? Coffee. All right. So, they had a lot of galactic influence. These people were at such a vibrational frequency in Atlantean times that they were very galactically tuned in. They were channeling the Pleiades, Arcturus, Sirius, all sorts of star systems too. So a lot of the knowledge that built Atlantis was galactic. A lot of their, you know, tuning in and things like that. They had a lot of extraterrestrial coming in the physical form. We don't see a lot of that right now, right? A lot of extraterrestrial coming as teachers. When I look at a lot of the Egyptian culture and the native cultures too, and they talk about star people and these gods that came from the stars, and a lot of these stories and cultures interwoven around here, you know, we see like, you know, the ancient astronaut stuff, you know, in a lot of like ancient places and stuff like that. The atla-ra were, you know, regarded as these channels in between worlds, right? Much like a shaman, but we're very, very galactically connected and tuned in. If you're not feeling like that, it's where we're headed again on every level. And like I said, why would, in every movie they show extraterrestrials as killing everyone, coming to destroy the planet, coming to invade, and every type of movie that they come out with, because so we've been getting programmed, people have been getting programmed to feel a certain way about extraterrestrials. When you reach a certain level of spiritual evolution, your soul will turn to service. To serve another person is to serve the Creator. It's the only path here. So, you know, we're talking about highly evolved entities, and at some point, the more evolved you are, probably the more service to others you should be. You'll understand that this is how we serve ourselves in so many ways, turning to this path. So there have been many star people, will say, that came here during this cycle, if not living here before those times, that were using this planet to try to teach, to try to bring the same stuff to this planet, galactic knowledge and understanding about, you know, life and how things work around here, so that we could enlighten people and lift up the collective. A lot of people in these spaces would have had past experiences in Atlantis. I would say our entire soul group pretty much. It's why people feel very drawn to these Egyptian places. When I look at Egypt, it gives me a good understanding of Atlantis. Because what do we really know about Atlantis? A lot of it comes from channelings. Right? What do they really know? Plato did a lot of work about it. Much of what they know. You know, there are some types of channelings and things like that. That would be a channeling as well. So we do have a good record of Egypt, though. We might not have the artifacts of Atlantis, all of them. But we do have a really good record of Egypt. We have a lot of hieroglyphics, a lot of, you know, pieces of literature, things like that, that we can really use to understand Atlantis better, because that's where they would have got a lot of their deities from. If you look at some of these stories, let me think of one, Thoth. Real popular, right? Thoth, we see them all over the wall, hopefully. lately, because is a big part in all this. You would see his story merging with the Atlantean times, right? You see him throughout Atlantean, like emerald tablets and other things, and you also see him in a lot of Egyptian type of artwork and things like that. Osiris and Isis. Maybe possibly these gods, people who came from, I say people with the bird face, right? People that came from the stars to teach on this planet during Atlantean times and during Egyptian times. Not sure. Possible. Alright, we saw the first control drama, like I said, that wasn't really Egypt, because that's when people began divided and really began to enslave people through political means, government means, right? Things like that. And that's where this is all carried out to, with these enslavement systems and what is going on. You know, in the Atlantean times, this was a place with a lot of technology. It's probably why I see a lot of our consciousness group feels really comfortable on Facebook. Using technology from our homes, right? On Facebook, I see a lot of our consciousness group and the light workers getting on, you know, Facebook, setting up websites, getting and using, you know, this digital network that we have in so many ways too. There's a huge connection between Atlantis and Sirius, like I said. A lot of the knowledge that built Atlantis would have come from galactic places, you know, and we see a lot of that Sirian knowledge surfacing now. There's a strong connection between Atlantis and a lot of the native cultures as well. We see with the Hopi prophecy that especially that they talk about the blue star Kachina and the red star Kachina and the star people coming back and things like that. So we see that possibly this same consciousness group that tries to assist with our planet may have come throughout time at different times to try to teach and elevate people in many cultures possibly. We're talking about the interdimensional. And I'm just all over the place, but I just thought I'd connect and say hi to you guys. I just added like 15 people too. I'm going to be using this space a lot. So this weekend, when I have a lot of time, I'm just going to be, you know, more in this world and bringing it back to you. This is an area that I'm very interested in. When I went to California and was there, I spent like weeks meditating, just making grids, right, and doing my stuff I do. And downloading and going into these places in our timelines, because, you know, I did a lot of past collective timeline healing for a lot of us that lived in a lot of these places, and the universe was drawing me into these places. I was putting out some crazy channelings and writings on my page that people were not even like, it was just not on their level, right? I was putting these crazy channelings about these past lives out on my page, and it was just probably way too over people's head. People thought I was going crazy again, right? I was telling Dale this morning that I believe these places exist in the now. Well, only because I've seen Lemuria when I was on Shasta with some of the stuff that I've been through on my journey, I believe, right? Where is Atlantis? They have some new articles out saying they found it again. Where is Atlantis? Where is Lemuria? They were destroyed. I don't know. I think that time isn't what we think it is. We see a lot of our past experiences are happening now, you know. Hi, we're talking to Atlantis extraterrestrials today. Yes, extraterrestrials. I know that everyone's like, oh my god, but then they're fast to believe that lizards must be in control of the whole planet and things like that. But, you know, there was a lot of time, like, I believe that a lot of technology that is brought to this planet is brought to here, you know, through extraterrestrial means a lot of the time, too. These would be, you know, souls waiting for us to get on their level. Since Egypt, right now, with this awakening. They've been waiting since Egypt, since that fall of consciousness, since Atlantis, really, for us to get on their level and to be where we need to be at a good enough frequency to be galactic channels again on a lot of means too, right? When we're at a low frequency, we're going to be channeling the lower spiritual around us, and on whatever level, we're just getting back to that vibration now where we can better tune into that knowledge. Okay, I say that they talk about Atlantis being built from the blood of the gods. I find this interesting because for a while I was studying blood types. I'm all into science. I was studying blood types and markers and blood and DNA and things like that. And I found it very interesting that with some of the research I was running into, they were referring to it as blood of the gods, some of these trait markers. Blood of the gods. I don't use that word. It could cover a vast number of things, I believe, right? Gods. Which gods? Right? Blood of the gods. It's still a term being used for certain blood types today and markers I see. So this was supposedly Atlantis, an island created out of Poseidon, and these people were half god, half mortal. Very drawn to Atlantis and Egypt. I think that Egypt holds all the keys to Atlantis that we've ever been looking for. On every level. Like, it really does. Like, on every level. When I saw the Sumerian tablets, out of all of it, I could actually understand those. Those were star language to me. They were, I'm supposed to be really good with, languages and symbols and, stuff like that. And when I saw those of all of them, I had never seen it before. I never checked out something like that. I'm not that into it. But when I had seen the writing and was going through the exhibit, I was very, there was such a recognition with it. I was like, that's galactic. So, galactic language would be symbol-based. Let's look at the emerald tablets. So let me go get them. Alright, I'm real into languages, like I said. Right, my gifts, downloading words, things like that. So I'm real into symbols, okay? So this is good too. So we can look at the emerald tablets. I wanted to get them because they say in the emerald tablets that if you meditate on the symbols that they hold, they will activate you. They will unlock things in you, I think it says. So, I know you can't see it good, but it's a symbol-based language, right? This would be Atlantean language. It matches up with a lot of the Atlantean language keys that they have too and things like that. Okay, so Egyptian, it's hieroglyphic, right? It's very symbol-based. We see the Sumerian tablets too, but we see a lot of other languages that there still are around like that. Hebrew and Arabic is like a symbol-based kind of language too. So you can kind of see how things evolved to where we're at now with it. But when we look at these symbols, it's galactic in a lot of ways. When I think symbols, I think galactic. Symbols, codes, frequencies, energy. Vibration is key. Yep, the emerald tablets, right? So we see Thoth. Emerald tablets, Thoth. But we see Thoth is like god of Egypt, right? We see him all over the bird guy. We see him all over everything with Egyptian stuff too, right? Wouldn't that have occurred at a much different time? And it's so funny that the Law of One, which I'm not a big fan of, but you know, you can still get some information out of this stuff, does talk about ships landing over Egypt and Atlantis, like in the physical. It would have been the last time that, you know, actual, in the physical, spaceships would land on this planet and do some kind of crazy landing, too. I'm very drawn to the interdimensional. I have experiences where I see spaceships and can telepathy them. I have fairies that I can see with my eyes that I am communicating with and asking to assist me with healing myself and my mission around me that I catch on camera, see with my eyes. So I'm getting better and better tuned into the interdimensional as purifying, detoxing, healing myself, and, you know, delving into this work on whatever level. So these were places that were very built in the interdimensional and tuned into the interdimensional. Places with mermaids. Yeah, I think that in Atlantean times, people were more one with water and could breathe underwater, and everyone thinks that's crazy, but we see babies in the womb, right? And these were places where, you know, there would have been mer people. A whole nother world in the ocean, like the Little Mermaid. They look the Little Mermaid. It's probably where they got it from. Someone said, I believe that. Yes, take your vitamins. It will help so much with this. In case you didn't notice, I mean, I describe it like we're in a washing machine right now, right? We're getting purified and cleansed. And, you know, sometimes that feels like purging. Sometimes you can't move when you make these ascension shifts. Sometimes you got the crazy energy. It just feels all type of ways. The vitamins are the best thing that we can even be doing on this planet. And that was something that was used in ancient times. If you look at any culture, they are using herbs to purify the physical body while doing any type of spiritual practice. We see the maca in Peru. We see the turmeric in India. We can see the chlorella was used in ancient Atlantis. We see that the blue vervain on the detox list was used in ancient Egypt. So on that detox alone, that has like all the top herbs globally that are best for our ascension, enlightenment, right? We want to purify our body, you know. It's a huge component in that. That's what they teach in these mystery schools. My mystery school feed sounds just like my regular feed, right? Yeah, that's what we were teaching in these places as well. The same type of galactic knowledge and understanding, you know, how to detox, how to heal, that we live on a toxic planet. Ditch the pharmaceuticals, right? We need to purify the body, though. Any type of martial arts, they will teach you that you have to have mastery over your mind, body, and soul, basically. Good, I'm reading the comments. The interdimensional is becoming more noticeable. You can see your energies changing every day. I have to do those aura pictures because even a year ago from now, my energy is just so different. Like, seriously, I have to track and document my journey with what I'm doing with this ascension because it's so mind-blowing to me on so many levels. But you can see your energies changing. Everyone's is daily. And, you know, we're making these crazy shifts, just transforming so fast. But those vitamins really help. We have to purify the body, mind, and soul on every level. We got to let go of the things that we're holding on to. We have so much assistance galactically. I was saying that I doubt that people realize that I wake up every day and you guys are my mission every day. But I'm not the only light worker around doing this and working on a daily basis and this kind of stuff. So it's amazing the things that are aligning. You guys are so important that the entire universe is always working on your behalf, whether we realize it or not. Alright, so we're going to do a lot of Atlantis, Egypt. I like to stay focused on how these things are connected to now, as you guys know. But if you guys have things you want to know about, you guys can give me like questions, topics, because I can download on pretty much anything and get a lot of information, right? So I like to be able to use my abilities to serve people in the collective. If you guys have like stuff that you want to hear more about with anything Egypt, Atlantis, Lemuria, things like that, I do have a lot of information on these places that I'm going to try to get out. So in this space, I was teaching the Law 1. It was a really good stepping stone for me to learn how to teach, though, right? When I was kind of getting trained, doing videos and teaching and things like that. And I'm feeling amazing coming back. The best thing I ever did was step outside all that stuff. Step outside everything I had learned once again, right? I wake up, I learn all this stuff spiritually, and the best thing that I could do on my path was just step outside all that. And just, you know, go back to my intuition and what I know to be true and things like that. So I'm coming back with a much different perspective. I'm doing this space. It was dead for like probably about a year. And I'm real excited we got these classes going again. I got guests I'm going to bring on video. I already started in my other class. So I have some really amazing souls that I've connected with doing my, you know, light worker journey that I'm here doing. So I have some really awesome people too that I'm going to get on feed on here to talk about some of this stuff too. So we're doing a lot of purging. Last night, little energy report. Last night, I already knew that when I was looking at the geostorm kind of stuff with the energy, the winds, right? You can look at the winds, see what's happening. So we did hit K4 in the middle of the night, I think. I put it on the Reiki wall. But I could tell that it was like from midnight to 6 in the morning, and this is universal time, so anywhere you live. Same time, midnight to 6 in the morning. Funny they do universal time, right? So it's the same for everyone. Middle of the night, you guys might be having more crazy dream experiences, purging in your sleep, having strange dream stuff happen. So as the frequencies come up, we're, you know, tuning into our souls more and more. I don't know, I used to be open to that maybe extraterrestrials made people, but now I think that, you know, I'm very connected to this source, this consciousness on different levels, but I know for a fact that we have so much extraterrestrial influence on this planet that people would just be mind blown at on how we all got here and how, you know, this galactic knowledge being brought to Atlantis is what led us all here and being enslaved. It wasn't being used for good like it was supposed to be, right? You can use knowledge for other purposes, so it was really used to keep people asleep. Right? How would they know to fluoride us? They had to know fluoride is bad for us, right? How do they know to fluoride us? So they've had this knowledge, clearly, or they wouldn't be, infiltrating our food and everything around here. But it was not used for healing and uplifting the collective. And it's really everything that has led us here. A lot of starseeds feel a responsibility for it, that would have had, a role in bringing knowledge to Atlantis and places like that as teachers. All right, we see Poseidon. We're going to talk about him again. Poseidon, I see him in other cultures. They refer to him as Neptune. Oh my God, that should be familiar if you like astrology, right? Are you a Pisces, Neptune? So they name some of these planets after some gods too, and they have connections like that too. So clearly the Romans stole a lot of this knowledge, Atlantean type knowledge, and made new gods. Right? They made new gods and new saviors, Jesus, they're gods. And then we see it happen with Greece, and they did the same thing. And then they create these enslavement programs out of these gods and deities and things like that. So we can really see where it just kind of came out of the same place with Atlantis and Egypt, and how we all ended up here with these kind of enslavement programs running and this knowledge being used, for how it is. Pisces, good. You're a Neptune. My husband has Pisces Venus. And that's one of my favorite signs, Pisces. And so, he's got to be Neptune ruled. If you're a Pisces, you're Neptune ruled. Perfect. Atlantis was too. Atlantis would have been under Neptune rule. Hi, Lindy. I love it. We are for sure traveling in our dreams. For sure. I love it. It's my favorite time of the day, I say, when I go to sleep. Tessie have blue hair all summer. Good. Do what you want. Do what feels good. I need water, or I like self-destruct. Don't we need water to live? Someone says about water, right? I need water to live. We need a lot of water during these space storms. So the higher frequency, the more water you need, I'm noticing. The higher the frequencies are going up, the more water I seem to be needing. Atlantis would have been a real high frequency place. When I wake up in the morning, I have to take a shower and I feel amazing right after I do, right? I feel like astral hangover when I wake up. I take a shower, completely refreshes me. I'm clearly feeling more and more of a pull to salt water too, and things like that. So these are places that understood the power of the water, ocean herbs for healing. Chlorella, before I was led to it for my own healing, to heal myself, right? I used it to heal myself. I never heard of it. Now we see it all over Facebook with the light workers, but I never heard of it. It was something that was buried in this matrix too, right? that we stumble upon. And so these things are surfacing again, these herbs that are used to heal and that are so amazing. And we're seeing spirulina, chlorella, amazing for you. Seaweeds. I'm having technical problems all day here. Technical issues. It must be the space storm. All right. They say that Atlantis has to rise again. Yeah, what goes up must come down. Karmic laws and things like that. So Atlantis has to rise again. They say America will fall and that Atlantis will rise again. Well, I think it already did fall with Egypt and... All right. So this is the things that they talk about, prophecies and things like that. But Atlantis is definitely rising again because the light workers have woken up and are bringing back the same knowledge that we hold in our DNA from those times on so many levels. Hi, Mitch. I'm reading the comments. I'm just hanging out. I gotta go do a real feed. I'll probably just do it right here. Romans stole everything, right? So, but you can just see the history that we do know. Because, right, they like to hide our history. They've hidden everything. If you look at some of these Egyptian statues, come on, some of those pharaohs look a little extraterrestrial hybrid to me, but hey. They've hidden our whole history. But we can see the history that's occurring now and, past things that we do know to be true. And it can really just show you how things have progressed here on so many levels. And when we're talking about galactic places like this, that people are channeling the same places, the Pleiades, Arcturus, Sirius, all these galactic channels you're seeing suddenly awaken and surface around us. You know, these are very evolved souls that have zero understanding of harming another, killing people, the stuff that happens on this planet. It's why a lot of starseeds feel so out of place, alone, going through this journey on a lot of levels, not having that real kind of galactic connection, I call it. Elongated heads. The stairs in Peru, they're for giants. Some of these things are huge. When I see like the Egyptian stuff, huge. For giants. I swear. I love it. I'm reading these comments. I gotta stop fucking off and go to work. Alright, but I wanted to say hi and connect and let you guys know this is not a dead group. It is active, and I'm gonna be coming back Monday morning for this space. I kept getting pulled away. I was trying to do these feeds, and I kept getting pulled to the other class, the ATA class. So we did some good feeds the past 2 days though. So I'll be focused on this space Monday and Tuesday with some more stuff on the same topics. If you guys have questions, more stuff you want to know about, more deities you're drawn to, anything that you're drawn to from these places, let me know. Post it on the wall. Make this group a little more active. Tell me what you're drawn to, whether it's the pyramids, some hieroglyphics, some art. I'm real drawn to Egyptian stuff. I've been to a few really badass museums since I've woken up and seen a lot of stuff that came from there. That Egyptian museum here that we went to, in the British Museum, all that stuff was underwater. I mean, they want to talk about Atlantis, right? All that stuff was underwater since the Pharaoh Cleopatra's time, and they just pulled it up a few years ago, and it's in their exhibit. Almost everything that they have from Egypt came from that underwater city that they really don't have a lot of information on. This planet has for sure been going through earth changes. You can just see it with earthquakes, tornadoes, the weather, right? Earth changes, mudslides. I used to do the end time news, and they will have horrific natural kind of catastrophes every day. Don't worry, people are not dying a lot of time in these things. It's just like they lose all their houses and cars and stuff, you know, ego deaths. But you see the earth has been, you know, transforming steady and things like that. So a lot of these past places, not Egypt and Atlantis, but some of these past civilizations are kind of buried in certain places around here. Loving the look. I can't shop on Etsy anymore. They made me pay mail tax to go get my mail. I'm like, and I can always find the best stuff on there when I'm looking on there. So they are so fucked in the UK that they want you to buy everything from the island. And if you live here, you probably need to import anything you want, especially spiritual stuff, right? So it's crazy, but I love it. I'm gonna get off here and do some real cards, but I'm sending you guys some galactic vibes, right? We want to talk galactic. Galactic. I feel like I'm just living my life on a loop anyway, and I'm kind of in the same spot I was in some of these past places with some of the same souls anyway, just trying to learn and attain knowledge. We need to remember that that was the primary focus. It wasn't money in Prison Planet like here. The primary focus in Lemuria and Atlantis was to gain knowledge. We understood we were spiritual beings having a spiritual experience, and a lot of work was put in on self and meditation and purifying and tuning in and coming into balance with the others around you. A lot of the similar stuff we're trying to do right now, right? And these are places of very high levels of consciousness. And it was just so amazing and just so tuned into the interdimensional. And, you know, we're just starting to tune in on some of these levels again. I just think that's where we're ended up with our abilities. And I always say we're being tested because of these past places on how we use our abilities now and what our intent is. I've always gotten very far with myself and my mission by having an intent to serve the collective, serve the universe, and to heal everyone. So in past times, these abilities were not being used in that way. And so everyone should, when they're waking up, feel this pull to want to help, want to help people, want to enlighten them, want to heal them in whatever regard, to use their abilities to help others. It's how we amplify our gifts. In these past places, you know, in mystery schools, they were teaching the same thing, how to become clairvoyant, how to become galactic channels, how to tune into our abilities, things like telepathy, telekinesis, levitation, right? And all of the same things. They were mainly teaching in Atlantis how to control your mind to control your reality. They were teaching you how to become adept with your mind and creative with your imagination, so that you could manifest just unlimited things in a lot of ways. So it's everything that I'm bringing back and trying to teach now on so many levels. That was what everything was about, right? And just purifying ourselves spiritually, trying to do this ascension, how to tune into the interdimensional. The people that had attained that status, like I said, a lot of times were referred to as the atla-ra. I love the ra, right? Atla-ra. And these were priests and priestesses that have become, you know, galactic channels at very high frequencies, and could guide others and connect just like shamans to the other realms and places like that. And it's just pretty much the same as what we're doing here now. But these places, these people had nothing else in mind but to, you know, gain more knowledge, gain more knowledge and understanding. It's much like my pole being here, that, you know, I've always been on this spiritual quest, this quest to understand what we're doing here, what my place is, why we're all here right now during prison planning, going through this experience we call life on whatever level. And, you know, we can see so much similarity in all these past places and where we are now. I have people that are so unsure of themselves in programming, right? Unsure of themselves, afraid to speak, things like that. And I try to remind people that we were ready for this before these times. Yeah, you were ready for what you're going to do right now before you were born. People wake up and feel like they have to, you know, learn all this stuff and they need all this knowledge and they must need to read all these books. No, you need to meditate more, take your vitamins, tune in yourself. I'm all about, you know, teaching people to have their own equally mind-blowing spiritual experiences. I'm less about telling people come ask me, like, what book can I read? What book can I read? And I can't even answer, right? I'm like, oh, you should go meditate, take some vitamins, right? Everything I'm trying to say on feed that you can do to make yourself a better channel so that you can tune in galactically, because we're so galactically connected. It doesn't matter starseed or not, all humanity is on so many levels, right? These channels of energy. And so now we're getting hit with all these galactic frequencies to help our ascension. Sorry, we're out of time. Get ready to get blasted with high vibe energy on all new levels. Yeah, I keep on saying this world might get a little crazy doing this ascension. Right? We're getting stronger, though. We're getting adept. We're handling the storms better and better. Yeah, you're more and more yourself energetically. So even though the energy is getting turned up and it's getting harder around here, we should be handling it better and better. And we're getting cleansed and purified. And if you're not, you will be. And do what you got to do to try to get there, right? So the energy is going to get really intense on this planet. I just describe it like a pressure cooker energetically. Well, how I see things are going to go. Pressure cooker energetically, a lot of people are not conscious and aware and understanding the process, so their lessons are getting turned up. Yeah, you're getting tested. You're getting lots of lessons, right? And more rapid, too. We're doing some increase in learning fast. So a lot of people aren't consciously aware and they're just getting nailed with a ton of stuff, at, you know, one thing after another. And people are at all different places learning here. So this is an important time that we kind of master our own energy. And, you know, you've had your whole life to do that. Not just your awakening. You've been learning your entire life about yourself. You know, this has always been a journey through self. And we're learning how to master our energy now. That was everything that was being taught in these places. No different than the things that I carry now and try to bring back on every level. So it goes so hand in hand with me going to those ley lines at Stonehenge in a couple of weeks, right? We're ready to go. We're going to play in these ley line areas. And these were places that I was posting about and teaching about in this space and other ones. And now I'm going to hang out there. And I get to experience the energy myself. I say that we debunk the law of one, too. This is why I don't teach it anymore. Going to Stonehenge, because they talk about Stonehenge being turning people's service to self with those stones in the Easter Island rocks. And I got to see both structures because the Easter Island rock is in the British Museum, and I got to go do an energy exchange with these rocks, telepathy them, and experience the energy firsthand. So, you know, I was reading about these places in books, and there's a lot of misinformation with everything on Google and all these videos, and anyone can just make a video and make an article nowadays, right? So, you know, you're better off tuning into what you know to be true through your experience, your intuition, meditation, and going to outside sources around you. So I said, me and Sherry debunked the law of one. I believe that those stones are only going to amplify what is already there energetically, and that you choose your path, service of self or service to others. So if you are service to others, it's probably just going to, you know, amplify that energy you already hold on some level. So I felt really amazing. I got to go check it out myself, because I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I have to go see Stonehenge to be able to determine that. Who knows, right? I can't really tell from a picture. So I had to actually go there and experience it. So that was pretty mind-blowing too, some of the stuff I teach about in here. I've been posting about the other Earth ley line chakras and Machu Picchu, and I for sure will go there too, and soon. So I'm excited to be able to go kind of explore these places and channel that energy out and get it out to you guys too. All right, I'm going to go on that note, and I'm going to get off here and do a real card feed. Love and light.